Blog Talk Radio.
Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot. Oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girls. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Psychic medium Helene Olsen and paranormal researcher Patricia Baker. Here are Supernatural Girls.
Everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls. Today is July 27th, 2013, and I am Helene Olsen. You can find me at angelslighthouse.com. Tonight we are very thrilled to have Tom Waters, an alchemist, on air with us live. We hope that you'll call your questions in for him at 646-478-0828. He's very knowledgeable about alchemy and has lots of products to help us with our health, body, mind, and soul. And Patricia Baker, my fabulous partner in crime, you're on the air live too.
Yes, good evening, Helene. Good evening to all our listeners. I'm so excited about this show. This is one of my favorite topics because it's about transformation. So I can't wait to get Tom on the air. But how have you been? We've had so many changes in our weather. I know you love to talk about the weather. So.
I do, but just to make a note on transformation, I want to see if he can transformate me into a 25-year-old, as I was once upon a time. That would be
well,
awesome.
Why not? You know,
yeah.
I just remember what a great healer once said, and what she said was, all things are possible all of the time. So why not? Why not be 25 again?
You know, I am joking, obviously, and I don't think I'd ever want to be 25 again for real. But, you know, I think that the idea is being able to transform our minds, to be able to sort of expand our own energy so that we can cosmically be as young as we want and as clear-minded as we want to be. And I think that's the most important thing. And just don't, like, look in the mirror as you walk by. You know what I mean, Patricia?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't feel like, you know, I'll tell you, I look in the mirror and I go, who the heck is that?
Yeah, I think we all do that.
I feel a lot younger than that person in the mirror. So.
Right. I do too. Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting. But I think that the products that Tom offers can all help us sort of bend the idea of ourselves and help us feel soothed and help us have more clarity, don't you?
I hope so, and I also hope they make us feel and look younger. Why not? I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I want to hear all about it. I want samples. So we will test the products and we'll spread the word. Yes, I'm all excited about the show. It's going to be great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It is. And the weather here, Patricia, has been lovely today. It was warm without being suffocatingly humid, and the sun was shining, and so we were very blessed with that today.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been so chilly at night, like down to 58 up here in the hills. So, yeah, I actually had to close the window the other night because it just got a little too chilly.
Wow.
But it's nice. It's much better than that suffocating humidity. I would not do well in the South. I know they have that day after day and week after week, and it just doesn't agree with me. So happy to be here in New England.
Mhm. Mhm. That's true. Do you have any paranormal news tonight?
You know, I do, but it's not so much paranormal. I found this a fascinating story, especially based on the fact that I interviewed Dr. Garth Nicholson, a microbiologist, several weeks ago on the show.
Oh, fascinating.
And it was great. And for the folks in the audience, if you have not heard this interview with Dr. Nicholson, I urge you to just carve out a little bit of time and listen to it. It's all about the latest information on health. And the reason I picked this particular piece of news is because it's very important, number one. And number two, it's because after the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, put this up on their website, they took it down. So I wanted to make sure everybody knew about this. It's a little bit scary, kind of a lot scary, but I wanted, again, bring it full circle to what Dr. Nicholson was talking about regarding vaccines. So basically, what the CDC came out and disclosed is that a number of polio vaccines had been contaminated with the SV40 virus, which caused cancer in nearly every species infected by injection. So this was up on the CDC website, and many authorities now admit much, possibly most, of the world's cancers came from the Salk and Sabin polio vaccines and hepatitis B vaccines produced in monkeys and chimps. Now, they also said that mesothelioma, I know everybody's seen that commercial on television, they used to think was always a result of asbestos exposure. But research revealed that 50% of the current mesotheliomas that are being treated no longer occur due to asbestos, but rather this same SV40 virus that was contained in the polio vaccination. So a number of people were contaminated over a period of time. This was a long time ago. This is when you and I were getting vaccinated. So, yeah. So, anyways, I think it's a really important piece of information because when Dr. Nicholson was on the show, he said, "Look, I am not against vaccines. In fact, we have a vaccine division at imed.org, but." He said what has to be looked at is the contamination in the current vaccines and in the vaccines we've been giving out. And he did test some vaccines himself and found that they were contaminated with mycoplasma, which, again, I urge everybody to listen to this show because he talks all about mycoplasma, the treatment of it, how they discovered it, how it's an integral part of the Gulf War syndrome. So please, if you haven't heard that show, it's so important that you listen to it. And this is big news. And so the CDC had this up for a day or two and then tore it down. And now, luckily, some people grabbed it when it was up and were able to repost it. So that's the news.
So are they saying that these contaminations occurred over the course of 50 years?
They're
Was it
saying
every
that
vaccine or some?
It's in some of the vaccines, but they're saying there's quite a bit. I mean, it's not a small amount. They're saying that it all goes back to the Salk and Sabin polio vaccines, and there were a lot of them that were distributed that apparently were infected with this virus. So this is something that they admitted, and this is something again that Dr. Nicholson addressed in our interview, and it's very important to listen to it because I know there's also, just in contemporary news, there's a big stink about, what's her name, Jenny something. She's on The View now as a host on television. And she's very anti-vaccine, and she's apparently, feels that her son had become autistic as a result of a vaccine that was given to him. And, again, what Dr. Nicholson is saying is, look, I am not against vaccines, but it's the contamination of the vaccines that are problematic, and we need to address that. And here again, the CDC is admitting, guess what? We found out that these were contaminated. So, again, it's a great interview with Dr. Nicholson. I urge everybody to go into our archives at supernaturalgirls.com and listen to that show. He's a brilliant microbiologist, and he discovered contamination in a number of things, and he also discovered the contamination in vaccines.
So really, I guess the issue is that how do we now protect ourselves or keep ourselves cancer-free? Lots of people stay healthy by making their bodies not acidic and exercising and eating organic and all of that. Do you think that helps?
I think that helps a lot. I think the issue that we are facing is a lot of these things get triggered by stress, and we certainly live in a very stressful environment, and many people do not have coping skills when it comes to stress, so we just kind of go off the rails. And any kind of a large stressor can set certain things in motion that cause disease. It's all about balance, as we all know. It's all about eating as healthy as we possibly can so that we don't trigger these types of things. And clearly everybody who received this vaccine is not going to get cancer, we hope. But, again, it is something to keep in mind, and I think everybody needs to become proactive about demanding that the vaccines that are given are clean and not contaminated.
Amazing.
Yes. Isn't that interesting?
But
and then, of course.
And then how do you ever trace it back? I mean, we're sitting in a bath of toxins, according to the way the angels talk. So
yes.
How do you figure out where it really originates?
Well, I think they can. I mean, they always talk about patient zero, going back to the original person who had this disease the first time and how it spreads from there. They actually can do amazing things as tracking this type of stuff. And, again, the issue is people need to not be so sleepy about it, and once they find out the truth, and, again, by listening to people like Dr. Nicholson, who are educated and brilliant in their research, you can learn a lot about what's really going on with these vaccines, and you can take a stand and tell your legislators and congressmen, whatever, that this needs to be dealt with. It's the only way that these changes are going to be made. But I know Tom Waters, who's waiting on the line to come onto the show, he's going to talk about how alchemy can transform our health. It can transform our soil. It can transform the world. And I'm excited to hear that because maybe he's got some thoughts on how it would affect this whole vaccination process. So I'm anxious to bring him on the show.
Okay, and which area code is he?
949.
949. Okay. Tom Waters, you're live on the air.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate all of the work that you guys are doing, and I really appreciate the programming that you offer and the platform in which to share all these amazing topics.
Thanks. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to hear. So tell us a little bit, Tom, about yourself, and how did you get started on this path of transformation through alchemy?
Yeah, I'd love to. Basically, I was really health conscious. I was an athlete growing up, and I was always really into just a healthy way of life, a lifestyle. And I was also exposed at a young age. My grandmother had like a farm. She raised her own food and trees and vegetables and herbs and everything like that. So I kind of got into more of like seeing that these herbs had other values. So when I got into like my late teens, I started making kind of tinctures of plants, and then it just evolved over the years until really there was a lot of interest in alchemy with the Ormus actually. And so I was kind of investigating the real alchemy that this modern science was trying to rediscover, and I found that there was a gentleman that actually wrote 2 books on this topic, and it was a tradition that goes back hundreds, if not thousands of years, and it's an actual complete system that's already in place. It was practiced in Egypt. It was a tradition that was practiced by the Rosicrucians of Europe. And I was surprised to find that there's 2 books actually on it, and so it kind of answered a lot of questions for me. In that, I just really wanted to find the authentic, real deal of what this was all about. And so I read these 2 books. They were written by a gentleman by the name of Robert Bartlett. He wrote 2 books called, one was Real Alchemy and one was The Way of the Crucible. And those are really amazing books. They kind of break down all of the ancient alchemical codes and symbols into a language that can be understood. And so after reading his books, I was really interested in working with him and learning from him. And so I sought to, I went to do a couple classes that he offers. He also offers classes. And at that
it
time.
It sounds like you found this as your life's work at a very young age. I mean, it sounds like you were passionate about this in your teenage years.
Yeah, I was really passionate about it. I also have I have scoliosis, which is kind of like a curvature of the spine, so I always had this kind of almost like a neuropathic pain or some kind of discomfort. And so I was also researching ideas on how to end that pain and not have to do surgery. So I was looking at alternative modalities. So it kind of steered me off into all these different directions of treating my pain, not having to take pharmaceuticals or any addictive medicines, be able to mitigate my pain with like tonics and herbs and different things, which ultimately led to the path of alchemy and specifically spagyrics. Alchemy and spagyrics, there's a lot of confusion with those two words. Alchemy is the process of transmutation, and spagyrics is just a traditional way to prepare a tincture, which is basically we take the material and we process it into its three essentials, and then we recombine those three essentials into a proper tincture, and that's called a spagyric process.
And now these types of things have been made for thousands of years, and certainly throughout history, people who had this type of knowledge also had to hide it, didn't they? Because they were persecuted.
Absolutely. I would say if I could characterize it as any way, I think the early church felt like if God wanted you to die, that was kind of your deal, and that if you messed with that in any kind of way, it was going against God's will. That's the only thing I could really deduce from it. But yeah, it was definitely persecuted. Alchemy had fled to Persia for a while during that persecution, and so it really was persecuted, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, from everything I've read, that's why so many of the alchemical symbols are symbols, why so many things are still hidden, and you kind of have to be a part of this fraternity in some ways to understand what these symbols really mean. Is that correct?
Absolutely. In fact, it was a proper initiation into the alchemical tradition that was required. So it was almost like people would start off just working like a blower on a furnace to make sure the furnace never went out. There's a long initiation, and they wanted to make sure that all these other components were in place, your character, your morals, your integrity, your work ethic. And so there was a process involved before they would even let you consume the medicine. But there's definitely a process with the medicine that has an outcome that is a traditional way to take some of these medicines.
And for you were looking to stop the pain of the scoliosis. And I know what you're talking about because I had scoliosis as a teenager also. It was very uncomfortable. And, of course, when you have scoliosis, you're made to sit in, no matter what, you're made to sit in a classroom as a child or a teenager for hours. And that obviously just aggravates it and makes it much more painful. And I think we just lost Tom.
Yeah, we did.
This happens sometimes. We've got these gremlins on the radio board here tonight.
I don't know if it's gremlins. I think he might be on a cell phone, Patricia.
Oh, boy. Well, that sometimes happens on a cell phone. But anyways, that's an interesting thing that motivated him to really look into a remedy, because I know I had painful scoliosis too, and they didn't really offer you a lot of choices. So if you go the traditional medicine way, but then there's also chiropractic care and things like that. But I understand why he was interested. Oh, here he comes back in finding a solution. It's very painful.
It is. Well, let me get Tom back on the line here because I have some questions about Ormus. He mentioned that briefly. Hi, Tom. You're live on the air again.
Sorry, technical difficulties. We're actually we had an engagement that we had up in San Pedro, California, and we're just heading on the freeway, and we ran into a bunch of traffic, so I couldn't actually make it home in time to make the call. So we're kind of doing it en route, and I think we just got disconnected there.
Okay. Will you be home at some point during the show or not?
I don't think so. It's still kind of a far way off. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. I was just wondering if you could call back in on your other line, but this will do for now because we're so delighted to have you on the line and have you join our show. And I know that it's taking up a lot of your valuable time, but we really appreciate it. And it is amazing that you started at such a young age. I think most kids aren't that interested in the kind of thing that you were interested in, but maybe it was the farm environment that introduced you to all that.
Yeah, I think it was my grandparents were the biggest influence on me to just live a humble life. And, you know, they would grow their own food. They'd pickle it and store it in the winter. They were just, they taught me a lot about just very basic, simple things. It was a huge influence on me.
Now, you briefly mentioned Ormus, and can you explain to the audience what that is?
Yeah, absolutely. I have my own kind of definition after researching these materials for a number of years. There was a product that David Hudson, he was a farmer in Arizona. He actually stumbled upon these things, and he called them ormes, or O-R-M-E-S, orms. And he actually took these particles, like these metals, these platinum group metals, and was able to anneal them in a way that deformed the nucleus of the atom and created like a monatomic atom through this high heat and all these other chemical processes. Ormus is a topic that's promoted by Barry Carter, and it's kind of a way of gathering some of this energetic material out of natural things like ocean water. You could use spring water to actually run a magnetic vortex trap and collect just a small percentage of the most highest concentrated energetic water that you can get out of the spring. And so there's all these other modalities, but it's more like it's not the same material that David Hudson was working with, but it has similar effects. But it also comes with a host of other things in which it kind of captures the Ormus-like energy material, if you will.
And what does the Ormus do? Because if you could explain to the audience, because I know we had another guest, I think about 6 months ago, that was talking about Ormus and the effect that it has on your consciousness, on your physical body. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it seems to be a superconductor, and so it kind of, the theory is that there's a template of perfect health, and this will actually help tune into that template. But it also is like a conduit for the spiritual kind of energy. And so you become an open conduit for more spiritualized energy, and the process would be to just keep that energy grounded and flowing through the conduit.
So basically it sounds like instead of having a small cable connected, you're getting like a superhighway connection through this.
Yep.
Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like fiber optic compared to like a dial-up modem. And so your thoughts apparently manifest. I mean, these are all anecdotal accounts that I'm recycling them also from other stories, but your thoughts download rapidly. Things manifest quickly because you're kind of plugged into that creative layer or that field of source energy. I mean, when it all comes down to it, it all starts with creation, and that's the energy of source. And so when you're creating things, projects, relationships, different things, you're downloading it from that layer into this material reality, because our brains function as a sort of antenna that transmits and receives data. And we can either subconsciously... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask you, so when people are looking at the possibility of getting a product like this and using it, there's lots and lots and lots of people out there on the Internet that are advertising these types of products, white powder gold, iridium, Ormus, all kinds of things. And I've noticed that a lot of them have a salt base also. A lot of them are made from salt and oil, and they taste salty. And I mean, but people from all over the world make these products. So now, what do you recommend for somebody who wants to try a product like this? What should they look for?
That's a great question, and this is a really important question. I personally take some Ormus occasionally. I'm making a soda that I include in this. It's called a conscious cola, but I use some.
I like that.
Thank you. I use some precipitate kind of Ormus, but only if it's been analyzed and ensured that there's nothing in there. That's super important to make sure that your material that you're consuming is not toxic or heavy metals or above any kind of level.
And how do you determine that? Because again, we were just talking about before you came on the show about the contamination in the vaccines, and so now what we're having to be aware of here is possible contamination in the Ormus products. And again, how do we know this? I mean, there's probably some companies that do assure you of that, or what?
Yeah, actually, this is the big problem with the community is that a lot of people it's like the Wild West right now, and a lot of us are concerned. We're watching what's going on, and we're going to make an announcement at our Mana Festival. It's a conference that we're throwing for Alchemy and Ormus. It's Labor Day weekend at Mount Madonna Buddhist Retreat, and we're going to actually make an announcement there that'll standardize this and help make safety protocols and analyzation. So all the products will have a certification, and there will be like an analysis done on them. But in all honesty, I felt like, because I've experimented with Ormus, and once I found that I was able to extract oils from metals, and this is the traditional way to do it, and this is the way that alchemists like Glauber, Paracelsus, Basil Valentine, they write about this stuff, and they write it in a way that tells me that it's safe to consume. Now, the ancients didn't have machines to analyze their material, but we do. We take the extra step, and we actually analyze these oils that we produce to ensure that there's no metals or any salts or anything in there, because we know that any kind of metallic salt or metal is a toxin on the body, and that's almost its corrosive. It's like a shell that protects it here from the elements or whatnot. But you don't want to be consuming those things. You want to actually be just taking the essential oil out of it, much like you take the essential oil out of a plant, like a lavender plant or something, and then it's safe to consume once it's refined.
So there's really a lot to this.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Helene.
Are you saying it's a little bit like homeopathic medicine, where it's sort of the energy of the Ormus that you're trying to extract?
Yeah, that's a really good way to look at it. In fact, you touched on a subject that, so Paracelsus was the father of homeopathy, and he was also an alchemist as well. And so those are two different lines of medicine, but yes, it's similar in effect. The homeopathy is actually taking the negative vibration of the thing, and you're taking like a memory of it, introducing it into your system, so that system creates a response to that negative thing, where you're not actually getting the negative thing. Mm-hmm. Where alchemy is an energetic initiation. It has it's like a tuning fork. These medicines actually act on different organs, and these ancients figured out this system of correspondences. Mm-hmm. So, for an example, if you took a metal like gold corresponds with like the eyes and the heart and all these physical organs. It also corresponds with different chakras as well. But if we're just talking about the body, we can then take these medicines, which is our dream is to realize a medical healing center based on the tradition of Dr. Rydell and this Rosicrucian tradition that will offer an Ayurvedic physician to do a diagnostic, pulse diagnostic, determine the organ, and then we can make a custom batch in our lab, which will be sold in the apothecary, so that we can actually demonstrate that these medicines act on these things, and we'll produce it. It's like it'll tune it like a tuning fork, so that the organ itself will produce the necessary functions that will allow it to be healthy.
Mm-hmm. So you're really on the cutting edge of future medicine, even though it's ancient. We've denied it for so long that this is sort of like the future of medicine in a way. That's
a really great way of putting it. In fact, Dr. Rydell, called it the once and future science. And Dr. Liddell was a German that came over here, I believe, with the Mormon Church in the 30s to escape the World War II. And one of his missions was to bring alchemy to North America. So he set up a college in Salt Lake City, Utah, called Paracelsus College. He set up a research lab that one of my business partners and my teacher, Robert Bartlett, was actually the chief chemist there in the late 70s at Paralab. They were way ahead of their time. There was really no herbal market for it, and especially not a market for these oils of metals. So it failed upon his death, really, in the early 80s. I think that they just couldn't move forward with it, didn't have enough support behind it.
Well, it is fascinating to think about a whole different paradigm for medicine. And again, as we were talking about at the beginning of the show, it's kind of an interesting lead-in to what you're doing and what you're working on, because our medicine and traditional medicine here, there are so many different problems with it. And I'm not talking about emergency medicine, which I think in this country is excellent for the most part, but talking about the treatment of illness, chronic illness, things like that. It just seems in a lot of ways that there's more problems than solutions in this paradigm. So this new paradigm introduces a whole other aspect of vibrational medicine, and there's a lot now coming out too, along with the alchemical transformation. There's pulsed electromagnetic frequency treatments that people are using. I know my own vet uses PEMF in her practice with dogs and cats, and she's getting remarkable results. So there is a possibility of a huge change very soon, I hope. So.
Yeah, I agree, and I should mention that I'm not a physician or any kind of medical. I basically cannot treat or cure disease or anything like that, or nor do I want to say that this cures that or anything. But yeah, I just really want to have a setting where you can have a medical clinical trials on these materials is my main goal. I've seen anecdotal results, and I know the ancient tradition, but obviously the FDA has their own processes that I can't actually claim that I'm treating any kind of thing like that.
Sure. Yeah, I know everybody has to be super careful about how they talk about alternative treatments and things like that. So yeah, we're on the same page with you with that and understanding why you have to say those kinds of things. But let's get back to the Ormus again that Helene started to ask you about. And are there different types of Ormus or white powder gold or whatever you want to call it that do different things? Like, are there some that affect psychic resources and psychic powers and abilities, some that affect more the physical?
Yes, absolutely. We can go by the ancients, what they kind of figured out these different correspondences. Like the psychic ability is definitely the gold, because it has an effect on the crown chakra, I believe. But yeah, the gold definitely seems to tune you into that intuition. And I think what it is it's just getting that calm state of just being present and aware and not allowing the thoughts of the day or whatever's hammering at you. When we just allow us to be present, then this intuition can be heard much louder than with all the other stuff going on. So I think that psychic thing does develop once we have this mental clearness, which is one of the things that gold does, is provides like a mental clarity.
So people can take the white powder gold, and in what form? I mean, I've seen it in powder. I've seen it in like a salty liquid. And does it come in other shapes and sizes kind of thing?
Yeah, I would say that I prefer the white powdered gold. There's a lot of stuff out there on the market that they call white powdered gold, but it's really just they would use like a mineral ore or like dolomite or like some of these other mineral ores in terms of that. But true white powder gold is like taking gold with the Hudson process, which there's a patent out there that he outlines the whole process. But it's taking that process, separating the gold down to very, very fine particles, and then annealing it in an inert gas oven so it gets this radical spin on it. And so due to that radical spin, it becomes a superconductor, and it can no longer form a covalent bond and create metal again. I don't think there's any material out there like that right now. The closest that I've seen is, I'm pretty sure Sigverda's stuff is pretty legit. I really like his stuff. It's TibetanGold.com, I think is his website. He makes a red powder and a white powder. But in terms for my own personal intake, I prefer the gold because, like Helene said, it's the vibration, and the vibration's contained in the oil. And so you don't even need to mess with any metal or anything. It's just you want the oil because that contains the pure vibration, and it's so absorbable into the body that, a lot of people in the Ormus community will tell you or will ask you, what's the best stuff? Why don't I feel it? Out of all the people that I've experienced with this oil of gold, most people get it right away. You feel it. It's a powerful, deep grounding and presence and a sense of wholeness and well-being. And you see kind of like it's almost like everyone will get a grin, like they'll get the smile right away, and like a little twinkle will happen in their eyes. I see it almost constantly.
Well, I certainly know a lot of people that could use a dose of that.
Well, we're going to take this. Yeah, we're going to take this opportunity, Tom, to take a break for a moment, and we hope the entire audience stays with us. And you can call in to listen to the show or to ask your question to Tom live at 646-478-0828. And when we return, we'll be asking Tom about the various products he offers, and that will be fascinating too. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Your property tax bill. Have you seen it lately? It's frightening. Your property taxes are going up while your home value is going down. It's time to fight back and win. For the real truth about the property tax system, get attorney Pat Quintilian's book, Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Attorney Quintilian answers all your questions and gives you the facts you need to fight a property tax bill that is spiraling out of control. You'll also read about what happens to property owners who don't check their property records, only to find out too late they're taxed on square footage, fixtures, and even buildings that they don't own. Is this happening to you? Learn your rights. Buy attorney Pat Quintilian's book today. Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Available on Amazon.com.
Sometimes life can be a challenge. Would you like insight and guidance to help you make the best choices right now? Contact Helene at angelslighthouse.com to make your personal appointment for a psychic reading or energy alignment. Helene is a direct channel to the angelic realm and is remarkably capable of connecting to the living as well as to your loved ones on the other side. Helene is available to clients all over the world via phone or Skype, and it's simple to set up a group reading anywhere. Visit angelslighthouse.com, where you'll find an easy way to schedule right online. And while you're there, sign up for the Angels Lighthouse newsletter and receive information on all the free energy circles, giveaways, and jewelry with a message. Visit angelslighthouse.com and contact Helene today.
everyone for staying tuned. We're back with our fabulous guest, Tom Waters, an alchemist himself. And you can call in at 646-478-0828. And, Tom, you're live on the air and would like to ask you where people can find you and your products. What's the best place they can look to connect with you?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we have a website called thesecretfire.org. And that's secretfire.org, okay? .org, and that is our distribution branch of a few different companies that we work with. So that's a website where you can actually get the products from.
What product would you recommend for me to go back to my former 25-year-old self? Have any magic there?
Well, there's...
I'm being funny, of course. I know that's not possible, really, but like, what do you think is the first product that someone like me, and I'm spiritual, I'm psychic, all that good stuff, but everybody is really, and the idea is, what do you think is the best product that would be a first one to try, and what would I get the most sort of effect with, do you think?
Yeah, I would say the gold is pretty much the best one to start with as a daily tonic, and it's also like a cellular restoration that takes place.
So the gold tincture? The gold tincture that you have on the website?
Yeah, it's technically a tincture of oil of gold.
Okay, so it has the energy of the gold. It has that vibration. It has that kind of enormous energy to help us feel better, but it doesn't actually carry any heavy metal or gold in it. Is that true?
Correct. It's considered the safest way to ingest this according to these ancient writings.
Now, do you produce these products yourself, or do you have a lab, or other people do it for you?
Yes, I actually produce it myself. We have a lab in San Clemente, California, and we have one in Washington that my business partner has. And some of the products that we make, he'll make some, I'll make some, but all of them go to the lab to get tested in Washington. So he also had offered something to, this 30-year-old vintage batch that we had from the days of Dr. Rydell. And when that closed down, he acquired oil of gold that, he wanted to make sure, or he wanted to just hold on to it. And so now's the right time to actually introduce this substance. And it's sort of aged like a fine wine in some ways. So it's like this 30-year-old oil of metal that we had offered. It's like a limited batch kind of thing. So that would be one product that he had offered. So we all kind of fill in the blanks where we need to in the two different labs.
Now, these products, I'm on your website right now, they are not inexpensive. $150, $100. So obviously when somebody goes to buy something like this, they want to be certain that this product is going to give some kind of desired result. So you've got, for example, quintessence of frankincense and myrrh with gold oil. Now, what's the difference with the Three Kings is what the name of it is, the Three Kings formula versus just the gold tincture?
Yeah, the Three Kings is pretty much the pinnacle of what we offer to the public. It's basically in the Bible, everybody knows the three magi, or the three wise men brought baby Jesus, the frankincense, myrrh, and gold. Well, it kind of just stopped there, but a lot of us theorized that it was actually a tincture in a tincture form, and it's what produced Christ consciousness. And I know in my own experience with this material, it really blows open your crown chakra right away. I've had experiences with people who have no spiritual background or anything, and one of the women that I applied this material to, she was like, "What's going on with my head? It's starting to tingle." Her crown chakra was literally like opening up. So it's a really powerful thing. The thing is it does seem expensive, but when you break it down, it is such a powerful substance. This isn't the thing that you want to say, if one pill works, I'm going to take 4, because this stuff is really powerful. You need literally 1 to 3 drops. And so that little tincture
so how
bottle,
many? Yeah, but the 1 to 3 drops, that's what I was thinking. How long, so that bottle would actually last you quite a while, huh?
Yeah, it should last you a couple months.
Okay.
And you talked about applying it on this lady. Are you talking about just rubbing it on the crown chakra, or, again, is this an internal supplement, or both?
Yeah, this was taken internally. Just a couple drops on top of the tongue.
Okay, so use 1 to 3 drops on top of the tongue, and this should last a couple of months, and it's $150, and it's called 3 Kings. So it sounds like it's a very powerful supplement type of thing to take that is going to have an effect on the upper centers. So people who are looking to develop their psychic abilities or their feeling of connection to spirit would get some results with this.
Oh, absolutely. Most of our clients use it for really deep meditation. They can go really far out with this material. And the other stuff is like...
All of these... I was just going to say that I think all these products are of interest to people who want to develop their psychic abilities, and it's perfect for American minds because we all want the magic pill. And so, this does sound very attractive, I think, because you take a couple drops of this, you go into an instant deep meditation, hey, you don't have to sit there and struggle with random thoughts or a monkey mind, and you can just really enjoy that centered state of being. That's great.
Right, and I'd like to just say that there is no magic pill, but this certainly does make the practice easier because we're all in a practice of enlightenment, which is just basically maturing into a more wiser you. And so these materials just kind of help ease the journey.
And now you also have right next to this 3 Kings product the fixed tincture of antimony, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And what is that for?
Yeah, that was written about by a monk by the name of Basil Valentine. He was a Benedictine monk. I believe it was like the 1500s. And he called it the Triumphal Chariot. That was the book that he wrote, was the Triumphal Chariot of Antimony. And what it does is it exalts other herbs, like a chariot. It exalts their properties and potentiates them or increases them to actually work better, if you will.
So it's an enhancer.
It's an enhancer in its own right. I know that when combined with gold, it becomes really powerful, and our interest lies in treating. We'd really like to set up a clinic trial with cancer regarding with the antimony and the gold, because those two seem to be a powerful combination. We had one friend of ours, we actually used a antimony gold oil. This is the fixed antimony and the gold oil. And then we used aloe, saffron, and myrrh in a spagyric form. And he had acute myeloid leukemia. And it only took, I think, 2 weeks to where he didn't have it anymore. And the doctors didn't know why. They still wanted to give him chemo. But, yeah, we've seen some really powerful stuff. I can't make any claims, but I really, really want to get a trial in a clinical setting to determine just how important this medicine is.
Well, one of the things that I know about disease is that process seems to start when communication among the cells breaks down. And the way that I'm envisioning what you're talking about with these alchemical products is that these alchemical products are truly alive and communicating, so that when you take them, they begin a communication process that is very fast, very powerful, and has the potential to stimulate that reconnection and the communication process within, reestablish it, so that disease can be wiped out because you're back in balance again, everything's talking to each other, and it just seems like that's the way my mind is accepting this. Is that kind of true, or am I off the reservation here?
No, I think you're on the right path there. It's like all materials have consciousness for them to be materials, and these this consciousness or intelligence of these materials have correspondences and direct influences. And so, absolutely, with also, see, I want to kind of go back a little bit and just talk about what is the alchemical process of transmutation. It's bringing that subconscious into your conscious. It's fixing that subconscious into the conscious so that you're fully aware and present. And so that's kind of the goal here, is to cultivate consciousness. And these other things have their own consciousness that direct on your organs. And then all these organs, all they're doing is their job at a highly efficient rate, which is in the end result being that the blood is purified. So it's a powerful detoxing agent, and done in just a couple drops of gold, it'll detox you slowly over time. But ultimately, the process was to take 7 of these materials that had these intelligences and correspondences on the 7 days of the week, and then each organ would be affected on each day of the week, to where the blood would be completely pure in a year, and you would develop all of these psychic abilities as this clear conduit via this process of resonant tuning.
And I like what you're saying. I mean, you keep talking about this, the tuning fork kind of example, and vibrating at a completely different rate. And certainly I would think the higher the vibration, the less chance there is for physical illness. Is that how it works?
Yes, I would say that these materials will only enhance your own natural body's ability to do these things. Unfortunately, the world we live in today is extremely toxic. We live in a just very toxic world, and so we have different things than they were doing 1,000 years ago. So we need to kind of focus on the daily detoxing of these materials that we're being exposed to every day.
And so, but the alchemical process is really about transformation. And so, but, also let's go back to Helene's question about rejuvenation, because there are stories about alchemists that have found the Philosopher's Stone and discovered immortality, and that there are people that they claim through history have been spotted that living hundreds of years.
Like, who is it that you're talking about, Patricia? Do you know a name?
It escapes me right now, of course.
Well, I have a name, and the name is Saint Germain.
There you go.
And
Saint Germain.
He was one who people claimed was still alive 200 years later. And when I used to communicate with him frequently, he told me it simply wasn't true, that he did live in a much more extended life than other people, but it was more like he lived to like 125 but looked 50 kind of thing. And do you believe that that's a possibility, Tom?
I actually believe that human lifespan has much higher potential than what we're at now. Back in the day when they were getting these long lifespans, I'm assuming, and this is only my theory, but I'm assuming that they were surrounded by alchemy. I'm guessing that Abraham probably brought it from Sumer. We can't prove that alchemy was in Sumer, but we know it was in Egypt for sure. At the Temple of Karnak has hieroglyphs detailing recipes.
Well, I believe that Saint Germain was a real person, and that he actually did look many, many years, if not decades, younger than he really was. And he was an alchemist. And he also ate very little food, from all of the reports and writings about his life.
Yes. In fact, I can comment on that in just my experience. I notice when I do take some of this energetic materials that I don't need to eat, and then I don't need to sleep a whole lot. I'll go to bed at like 3 o'clock in the morning and wake up at 7 and just feel fully rested. I believe that a lot of the sleeping, I think is just the Earth's natural telluric currents, or the Schumann resonance, is kind of like re-adding that energy back to your body in this the state of consciousness that you achieve in your sleep. But yeah, if you add these materials, I mean, I can only theory and conjecture about it, but I would feel that if you took these tonics, these alchemical things, the theory would be that you would kind of freeze at your age, and you would have like a lot.
Very
the aging process,
slow aging process, I guess it would.
It would be extremely slow, and I wouldn't be surprised if you could get 150 years out of it, but potentially 1,500 years if the right materials were made and the right people were taking it, and then that was passed on to their genes, and then that was passed on to their children, and so. I mean,
I don't know, Patricia.
Yes.
150 years. I'm not sure. I'm not laughing at you, Tom. I'm just saying, it's just going around in my head like, okay, another 100 years of this. I'm not sure.
Well,
but
yeah,
I get what you're saying. I absolutely get what you're saying. Yeah.
But the whole too. Oh, I'm sorry. We were looking at it from our perspective, though, because we cherish this material world. We cherish these bodies, and we want to see how much we can push out of these bodies. But the true secret of alchemy and immortality is consciousness, cultivating your consciousness. So, like, part of the process when you get involved in this alchemy is you'll have what's called complete consciousness, where you lucid dream so heavy at night that you're fully conscious and aware. You can control your dreams, and then you're conscious during the day. So, it's like, your body gets rested, but you are aware of the dreaming process. So, ultimately, the alchemists were aiming for a process that you could retain your consciousness upon death. You could be aware of that process.
So that's also, you're talking about really solidifying, in some ways, the light body, so that when you're dreaming at night, your light body becomes very, very strong. And isn't that a lot of what the ancient Egyptians worked towards also? That's their life after death, is they actually had a way to construct a light body so that they would just move into that as they passed to the next realm.
In fact, they tuned themselves to that higher vibrational state. They ascended in life itself and not upon death, but they had met that vibrational frequency. In alchemy, we say we're fixing our sulfur to the universe, the mercury, basically. And the mercury is the messenger, it's the connection to God. So when we fix our own soul or our sulfur, so I should basically let you know there's the salt, sulfur, and mercury in alchemy. These are the three essentials. Our body is the salt, our soul is the sulfur, and the spirit that animates all life is the mercury. And so when we fix our sulfur, our individual consciousness, to this mercury, then we ascend, and then we retain that consciousness, according to the theory anyway.
It's fascinating, and certainly there's I've seen a lot of artwork, wood carvings, all kinds of things that symbolically show what you're talking about. And again, they hid a lot of this stuff because they were afraid they were going to be carted away and tortured or whatever way back in medieval times or before. But, yeah, there have been cultures throughout time that seem to have mastered some of this. And the ancient Egyptian culture appears to be one of them, where they really understood a lot about the working elements of alchemy.
Yep, and if you can just basically become present and aware of your surroundings, of the details of nature, just being an observer, nature will reveal all of its mysteries to you. So when you achieve this state, it's all just kind of revealed.
Well, we've got a question in the chat room, and here it is. They want me to ask you about the chemical wedding. What exactly does this symbolism mean? And the person is asking because they keep getting visions regarding this and the Rosicrucian order. So they have a specific question here. Can you answer that?
I actually, Patricia, I've actually read that book. I have it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I know why she's getting visions, but go ahead, Tom.
Sure. It's basically fixing those. It's fixing the conscious masculine aspects to the female subconscious aspects, to where you become a reborn whole unit, completely balanced left brain and right brain, to where you're perfected in that sense. And we use the chemistry, the alchemy, to achieve that.
So we're all getting cooked.
We are actually getting cooked by cosmic influences. Alchemy is such an amazing topic because in 30 years you wouldn't even scratch the surface of some of this stuff. It's just amazing how much information's out there. Dr. Rydell called it astrocyclical pulsations. So the universe is a mass amount of vibrational states that are hitting us all the time. You can see it in the world around us when things get really crazy in the world. You can go to spaceweather.com and you can see all these particles coming in and affecting us. And so part of the process is just being grounded, cultivating that light within us to where these effects are very minimal on us. We have like almost a force field to these effects because there's a lot to this tradition that I'm learning. You can see it in the Dzogchen practice, the Tibetan tradition, and the Buddhist tradition of Tibet called Dzogchen. They also talk about these pranas or energies or these things that kind of hit us, but all they're doing is refining us. Alchemy is a refinement of our soul as we fix it to this spirit. So it's a series of refinements. So it's not that these are bad things. These are things that are helping us bring stuff up so that we could then refine with that.
That makes sense. And Helene, did you also want to comment on the question from the chat room?
Well, I have the book in front of me right now, and I knew it was written in around the 1500s, but it says here it was written in 1459. And I believe that the book was channeled. I don't believe it was simply written as a story. And when you read the book, there's actual, and of course all words have energy. They're as powerful as anything else that's created by us or by nature. And when you read the book, it's almost like reading A Course in Miracles, especially if you're very sensitive, because the words are so powerful and there are many layers of understanding in those words. So even though you feel like you're reading it in a superficial way, it sort of sinks into your crown, it sinks into your mind, it sinks into your higher consciousness, and that's why she's having visions around this.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it sounds like this
book.
person in the chat room you're saying is actually experiencing her own alchemical process of refinement for whatever reason, right? You don't know,
well,
you don't know why.
The book, the story is about enlightenment and all the lessons that this character has to go through, and so it sort of resonates across the board with with all of humanity. You know.
Yes.
So
I don't know where this extraneous noise is coming from. Tom, is that coming from you?
Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, that's coming right through the line and broadcasting to our entire audience. So.
Oh, my God, sorry. We're good.
I hope that the lady in the chat room can hear my message, and I hope she understands that she is very sensitive and receiving sort of a consciousness upgrade in the course of paying attention to this book.
Yes, it looks like she did comment that this makes so much sense, and it looks like there's another message she's typing, which I'll be happy to relay.
Yeah, I mean,
she would
really resonate.
Thing.
See, the thing is, you know, the Course in Miracles, which many millions of people are familiar with, there are tons of study groups and courses and meetings you can go to and things online that you can actually learn the Course in Miracles and what the deeper meanings and layers are behind it. But what I personally did with the Course in Miracles and still continue to do to this day is just read a couple pages at a time. And what happens is the layers and the power of the message just sort of gets into you without having to understand every single nuance that it's, you know, trying to teach us. And so
it's
that's
kind of like it's a book, but it has an alchemical process on your mind and body.
It does because it's so enormously energetic and powerful. And the name of this book, if the audience is interested, because I have it in front of me, is called The Chemical Wedding of Christian Rosenkreutz. And it's a translation, and you can find it at Amazon or wherever you shop. So.
And when did you say that was originally channeled?
It was originally written in 1452, I think. Yeah, but it's like an allegory. It's a parable about someone's dream state, but it's not really a dream state. Sort of an astral travel, enlightenment kind of tale. And it does fall in line with the products that Tom is selling and talking about, because, it's all about expanding our consciousness and being who we really are. Don't you think, Tom?
Right. I think you touched base on some really important things with the channeling aspect of it, because we all know John Dees was an alchemist, and he was into scrying and communicating with spirits. And obviously the Rosicrucians have the invisible brotherhood, the invisible order of the Rosicrucians. So what are they talking about? We also know that in my work, my teacher, I've had several teachers, Robert being one of them, but some of my teachers talk about conscious assistance when you're in the laboratory, little downloads that you get.
Oh, yeah, I bet you do. Yeah.
Totally. So, yeah, these are really important in literally just refining. It's a refinement to where there's a balance between the material and spirit, and it seems like this material allows you to ground that spiritual world and still be present, like walking on a razor's edge, though, of being sort of in this world but not of it, still having the spiritual access and downloads. But ultimately it is about refining ourselves. And many secret societies, such as the Freemasons, also work on this illumination type of a process. These guys have a lot of alchemy steeped in their tradition. Even when they lay a cornerstone, it's got wine, olive oil, and corn, which is the salt, sulfur, and mercury. And so all of this is a process of refining our inner soul or our inner consciousness.
I love the way
we're all in the cauldron being cooked,
yeah.
And we are being refined, whether we choose to be or not. Well, it just reminds me of that old Twilight Zone, To Serve Man.
Oh no, not the Twilight Zone.
I know, you hate the Twilight Zone, Helene, but it does feel that way. It's almost like there's some type of a cooking of people going on. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but that's how it sounds sometimes, because in the alchemical process, you always see the cauldron, you always see the fire, and, then what happens is this refinement, and that is the cooking process. I love to cook, right. So I see that, but certainly this refinement of our consciousness is an important task that's in front of everybody. I don't mean to make light of it, because there are so many things going on in the world today, and it's not easy to keep your center amidst it all. And certainly these types of products, if they can help people to step back a little bit and not get so embroiled in the drama of what's going on, it would be part of the healing here. So these products that you have, I think, are crucial for people who really want to have some help in doing the practice, as you mentioned, the meditation, the connection with source energy, and so these products are quite supportive of that.
Well, we're going to take this moment to take a break, and please stay tuned as we continue our discussion with Tom Waters, Alchemist, and his website, thesecretfire.org, where you can look at his awesome products. We'll be right back. Well, thank you for staying tuned with us during our short break as Patricia and I have a little discussion here. First thing I want to say, Patricia, is that I am not against the Twilight Zone. I think it's a remarkably produced series. It's just that it's a little creepy to me. So that's all. I don't want any email about how great the Twilight Zone is. I know it's great.
I know. Well, I'm a big fan of the Twilight Zone. I'm one of those people that just can watch the 24 hours that they run it on the Sci-Fi Network whenever Halloween or whenever they do it. So yes.
Yeah. So we're having a great discussion with Tom Waters, and I find, alchemy to just be an amazing field, and there's so many facets to it, Patricia, that, people often think that it's turning lead into gold, but that's really not what most of it is about. It's about actually creating a higher consciousness that's very connected and open to all
and
of
it's about, I think, self-mastery also.
Yeah, self-mastery. That's a good way to put it, yeah. So we just went direct from the horrible Mercury retrograde that we had. And I've said this before on the air. Everybody screams Mercury retrograde. I pay no attention. I go, oh, well, just another bad day. I don't really put a lot of emphasis on that at all. But I have to say this one was really palpable. And it didn't go well, Patricia.
It didn't. For many people, this was a really difficult Mercury retrograde because, as we discussed last week, it was in the sign of Cancer. It was very emotional for people. There was a lot of anxiety during this time, and so many people were screaming, uncles, like, please, just let this be over. And finally, it's over. And as Patricia Kirkman, one of our great guests just recently shared with us, it wasn't just the Mercury retrograde in Cancer. There's also a shadow period after the Mercury retrograde that you had to deal with.
Yeah.
So that's over now, too. Thank goodness.
It is.
So we're free and clear.
It is. And there are some great world meditations coming up this week. Just go ahead and search online for the Merkaba on the 29th, which I believe is Monday. And there's lots of great collective light that's being very connected through world meditations online and so forth. So look those up and find them and clear your energy and have a great rest of the summer.
Yes, and also this is the perfect time, now that Mercury is direct, to set your intent. What do you want to see happen in your life, on all levels? Because that's what we're talking about with Tom tonight, is this type of self-mastery, this type of being able to be centered in your own life. So what's your intent?
And purposeful.
Yes.
We all need to feel like we're serving a purpose for the higher good of ourselves and everyone around us, right? So
it's true, and I think it's the perfect time for people to also call you, get a reading, get centered, set your purpose, and move on from there. And I know what you also do is not just you don't do a typical psychic reading. What you do is you actually help people get very clear of the things that are in their way. So I know you clear their energy. You help them get this focus. So I really want to urge everybody to go to your website, angelslighthouse.com, and see about making an appointment. This is the perfect time to do that.
Thank you. And as I've said before, you're offering dream analysis, but you really offer it with a punch. I'll tell you what. You know how to grab hold of those dreams and make them be what you want.
Well, I do.
It's a total power education. I mean, an education in learning how to access the power of dreams, how to control where those dreams go, how to accept what you want in messages, and how to reject things that may not be serving your highest purpose. And I know that you've helped me, Patricia. So people can find you. They can find you on Dream Analysis at supernaturalgirls.com or at angelslighthouse.com. But the other thing we want our audience to do is go right over to supernaturalgirls.com and put your name right on that sign-up in the front home page, because I don't think we did it this week, but as it gets busier, as we get through August, we'll start giving away books and readings and so forth again, and your name's got to be on the newsletter list to win that, right, Patricia?
That's right. So please go sign up, and then you will be automatically entered in all the giveaways and promotions that are coming up. And we've got some really special things that we're going to be giving away, so you don't want to miss your opportunity there.
No. And I got to tell you, ever since you helped me last year with my dreams and astral travel and my sleep and so forth, it's just been so good.
I'm so glad to hear that.
You've never heard me
as I've said before, with dreams, people have been taught to ignore them, and it's a shame because there's so much power in your dreams. If you can make nice with your dreams, develop a communication with your dreams, then your dreams are never going to steer you wrong. And it's an important aspect of the self. It's also a way to build the light body that Tom was just discussing, that they did in ancient Egypt so effortlessly. And again, they were masters of this. They knew a lot about the power of the light body, and you can access that through your own dream work. And that's what I love to help people with, is that type of personal power. I mean, don't leave it on the table. Really, it's yours. You just have to take it.
No, and what's fascinating to me is that I've spoken to so many people over the years, and some people really do get most of their intuitive information from their dreams. Now, that doesn't happen to be my strong suit at all, but some people, that's exactly where all the messages, premonitions, and information really is received, is in their sleep. And so anybody who's connected to that in a large way should contact Patricia so that she can help you make sense of what's going on and how to direct the information that you'd like to receive.
Yes, thank you. And there will be classes available as well as individual sessions. And I know you're going to be running some new classes also in the fall. So make sure to check back on angelslighthouse.com and also supernaturalgirls.com. Well, we will have everything posted for all of our listeners. And those are the destinations. Those are the places to go.
They are. Thank you, Patricia. It's always fun
thanks, Helene.
chatting.
Let's get back to our guest.
Okay. Stay tuned. And we're live, back on the air with our fabulous guest, Tom Waters, an alchemist who has his website at thesecretfire.org, and there you can find his products and consciousness-expanding tinctures and oils. And what I love about them, Tom, is that they've absorbed the energy of the minerals and metals that you're using, but they don't contain any heavy metals. And we like that, right, Patricia?
Oh, yes, because they sound a lot healthier right there.
Yeah, it does.
Correct.
Yeah. So, Tom, if someone's interested in being an alchemist on their own, I mean, I know you started at a very young age in a very different way than most people, but do you offer classes and so forth online or in a place?
Yeah, currently my business partner and teacher, Robert Bartlett, offers classes in Washington. We do workshops, and we are trying to get together kind of, we work with the International Alchemy Guild on some things, and I'd like to maybe work on some stuff with them or create some kind of curriculum or use theirs or something too. But at this point, I can just definitely recommend learning from Robert Bartlett. He does offer classes. But if you wanted to just meet an alchemist, we have several actually going to be at Manifest at Labor Day weekend at Madonna Mountain in Watsonville. It's up by Santa Cruz. We'll have Dennis Hauck, who's written many, many books on alchemy. Robert Bartlett will also be there. Sigverda will be there from Hong Kong. All kinds of amazing people that if you had any questions or if you wanted to learn more or meet these people who have done these things and made these amazing products, that would be a really good opportunity to actually do that.
And where's the website for that event?
Oh, yeah, that's Manna, Manna-festival.com.
Manna-festival.com. Okay. Mm-hmm. Sounds great. I wish I was in California. I'd go to that, wouldn't you, Patricia?
Oh, God, I'd be there in a second. It sounds like you're going to have some wonderful guests and from all over the world, so it sounds like quite the event. If people are in the area or will be traveling to the area, it's definitely worth their time.
Thank you.
Now, you also have some other products. I just want to get back to these because they're a little different. You've got, I think, a tincture of iron. Now, what is that for?
Well, yeah, iron is actually a really powerful blood purifier, and I think it also promotes sexual desire, or like that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It just really activates that energy.
So this is kind of like a root chakra treatment, if we were to put it in those terms.
Yeah, I don't know for sure which chakra it corresponds to, but it does have an effect of it's like doing stuff, like it's a willpower thing, so it increases willpower to get stuff done. Libido, it increases libido, and that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, but I saw the word burn on there. I saw the word burn. What does that mean?
Burn?
Yeah. Because I was thinking of getting that for my husband, actually, because he needs some iron. And there was something about be careful of burns. Maybe not supposed to.
What that means is that it's probably that the oil of iron is somewhat corrosive, and so I believe they don't recommend you to take it in a long extended period of time. And also, if it maybe gets the direct oil on your skin, it could burn. But all of the oils, in my experience, that I've worked with, other than iron, I know that you can put them right on your skin, and they're actually pretty good to use on the skin. Like antimony, we use for a variety of things. We've used them on actually tooth infections. We've used them on different skin conditions. Even like the oil of egg that we make. That's a really powerful, topically applied, although you can take it internally, but it works on scars, acne. There's been some clinical studies showing that it kills staph and E. coli.
Okay. So the oil of iron isn't one that you swallow; it's one that you put on your skin. Oh
no, oil of iron you do swallow. It's diluted though at that point, so it really wouldn't. It really would. In my experience, I just took some oil of iron today. I didn't feel a burning. In fact, it's kind of like a sweet taste to it.
Oh, okay, because it says caustic can burn tissues. Caution.
Yeah, that's what I got that information off of. This was a guy that worked with a French group of alchemists, and so I felt it was important to put that on there, but I haven't personally experienced that caustic effect with it.
Oh, okay.
But I just valued his research enough to put it up there.
I understand.
Now, the oil of egg, I know I've had some experiences with that myself. Can you talk a little bit about that and share the information with our audience? Because that's a very powerful one.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we actually start with the most amazing eggs we get from an Amish grower from Pennsylvania. They're $10 a dozen for these eggs, and they're insect-fed, free range. And so we start with those, and then we eventually boil them in water. We extract the yolk. We further dehydrate it, and then we extract the oil beyond that. And this oil, obviously, the yolk is the nutrient sac for the chicken to grow into a chicken. It's got all these highly powerful concentrated nutrients in there. And so the stuff that we get out, it turns out it has a number of applications externally on the skin, and internally it helps dissolve plaque. It actually lowers cholesterol, or has historically been used in that way to lower cholesterol and dissolve plaque and the other things.
That's interesting. And then, when I've used it, the thing that I find happens is that there's a consciousness shift into potential. So it just kind of gives you this moment of respite from the world when you can just sit back and just kind of contemplate potential, that it's a much greater field. Because we do tend to get rather narrowed in our lives, and we forget about potentiality, how large the field is, how many potentials there are. So what I find with the oil of egg is it does put you into that other state of mind, which is much more expanded, where you can see things a little differently and, again, in a larger and grander way about what the next step might be, but it's very much a shift in your reality.
Right.
So I don't know if that's what was intended with the oil of egg. But
were you taking it internally or externally?
Internally.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's if you think about it, it's just like we use the myrrh or frankincense resin. That's like a highly concentrated form of that energy. So yeah, it does have these other effects on a health level, on a physical level. It'll have those effects, and then also on this etheric level, it absolutely does that. What you said.
Yeah, the potential. I think the oil of egg is probably of all the alchemical remedies and tinctures and variety of things I've tried, that is one of the most powerful. I think one of the second most powerful, or again, it would be rival to oil of egg. There was a powder created. I'm trying to remember the name of this organization. It was out on the West Coast somewhere near Mount Shasta, I think. And they actually had this powder that behaved very oddly, and it was incredibly intense. It really did create a tremendous and quick change in consciousness. It was quite expansive. I don't know if you know the kind of product I'm talking about, but the powder was just beautiful. It was iridescent, and it had some really strange properties to it. And when you opened up the container, it would I can't describe it. It would just do weird things. So, do you know the product I'm mentioning?
I actually might be aware of this one. Was it a woman that actually ran that website?
I think it was a couple. It was I think it was a couple. And you had to go through an entire process of products with them.
Are you're talking about VP, maybe, Ascension Alchemy in Colorado.
That's
it's
the
in
one.
Colorado.
Oh,
yep.
It's in Colorado. Okay, I took them too far out to the West Coast here. But those products were amazing. They were very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's the issue that I think a lot of people might have with this is you're talking about hundreds of dollars of investment, and I know, yes, it is something that lasts a long time and all of that, and certainly understandable that it takes a long time to create these products. But they're not cheap. But go ahead.
I would just like to make an offer to your audience that we have a recent batch of gold that was made from a recipe by a German alchemist that we use, and we could offer that just so that people could try it. We'll offer it for $60 a dram and $6 shipping. And all you have to do is mention the show and just email me directly at tom@thesecretfire.org, and I'll give you the details because it's not on the website. This is a special offer to just your listeners.
Oh, how nice.
That's delightful. Well, thank you, Tom. Very generous.
Wow.
So everybody email Tom at thesecretfire.org, mention Supernatural Girls, and you will get a great big discount.
Totally. Our mission here isn't really to make money, and it's unfortunate that we do have to charge that much. But if anybody would witness the process involved, we actually risk our lives making these things with very serious chemicals and calcination. I know with antimony, it's very dangerous material to work with. We make it into a glass. It takes months to do. And so our intention is not to profit, but, gold is also expensive. But, yeah, we really want to get the materials out there to people, so I felt like this way of doing it would be a good way for people to get some experience with it and not be a huge burden on them as well.
Well, thank you for that. That's wonderful. Yes.
Yeah. Well, you're on the cutting edge of future medicine is the way I see it, even though we can't call it medicine officially. It is remarkable to look so far into the past to bring something forward now that people think of as the future, when it's really something that was absolutely lost to us in a way, right, Tom?
Oh, absolutely, and you see it in different cultures as well. Like you'll see it in the Chinese tradition, in the Ayurvedic systems of India. They have these three principles. It's all one truth, and so it's amazing how right now this shift in consciousness as these influences are refining us has allowed the human consciousness to accept some of these things and link these other things up, and truth is just going to come out and stand on its own.
I like that. That's a very powerful statement. And we've certainly been subjected to a lot of lies lately from our government and craziness that's going on that I can't even believe I'm seeing today. Right. And it would be wonderful for the truth to come out and stand on its own for all of us.
I mean, could you imagine a society in which everybody was completely conscious, fully psychic? You couldn't hide anything from anybody, nor would you even want to in that state. We're talking about transforming human civilization, and it was attempted during the Renaissance, the Golden Age of Enlightenment. All those guys were into alchemy, like Leonardo da Vinci, Sir Francis Bacon. So that was one period of human refinement. We're at a course now in our evolution that we can now take this other level of refinement to truly usher in a golden age in which humanity has never seen before.
That's ideal. I mean, it would be absolutely phenomenal how this wave could come over the Earth and the Earth's population. It would be wonderful. It would be heaven on Earth.
Yep.
Well, I'm ready.
I'm ready. Ready to go. Let's go.
So I think a lot of our audience is ready, too. I mean, we're kind of tired of these things that we've been subjected to from our major institutions and other things. So it would be a wonderful shift and an expansion, like you said, that has never been seen before. So that would be phenomenal.
It really is a lifestyle, I've noticed, and our materials have been really well accepted in these conscious communities. We go to events like Lightning in a Bottle or some of these other festivals, and it really is well received in conscious communities like Ojai or Berkeley. It's really amazing to see just how people gravitate towards this stuff. They almost find it. They're called to check it out almost. It's like they're called to check this medicine out. It's kind of interesting.
Well, I think that's absolutely accurate, because you're talking about people who have a sense of intuition and they feel they want something more, something deeper, something more profound and long-lasting. Because we can all go to the drugstore and buy an over-the-counter decongestant or antacid or whatever, and it's a temporary fix. Mm-hmm. So this is really a long-lasting, deep, and profound transformation. Big difference.
It is. And it's honoring nature. And I think if we can just be observant and present enough to observe nature, like what would we normally drink in nature? We would drink spring water. What is in spring water? It's these certain elements like magnesium bicarbonate, all these other things in the solution. If we can just honor nature and become back in balance with nature, I think that's the really key to the turning point of where we're going right now.
Yeah, that sounds right. I mean, last week we had Guido Masse on, who was talking about the wild medicine solution and all of the power that can be found in nature that we've just kind of walked away from to have all these processed foods instead. And as a result, we have obesity, we have heart disease, we have so many other things going wrong quickly. So it was, again, it's going back to nature, and that's a lot of what he was discussing also, just from the plant kingdom and all of his knowledge as an herbalist. So we're all talking the same talk, I think, about this. It's time to get back to those basics and the laws of nature that a lot of indigenous people knew and still practice today.
Right. And
we're going to take this opportunity to take a break for a moment, and stay tuned. We will be right back with Tom Waters, Alchemist.
Sometimes life can be a challenge. Would you like insight and guidance to help you make the best choices right now? Contact Helene at angelslighthouse.com to make your personal appointment for a psychic reading or energy alignment. Helene is a direct channel to the angelic realm and is remarkably capable of connecting to the living as well as to your loved ones on the other side. Helene is available to clients all over the world via phone or Skype, and it's simple to set up a group reading anywhere. Visit angelslighthouse.com, where you'll find an easy way to schedule right online. And while you're there, sign up for the Angels Lighthouse newsletter and receive information on all the free energy circles, giveaways, and jewelry with a message. Visit angelslighthouse.com and contact Helene today.
Your property tax bill. Have you seen it lately? It's frightening. Your property taxes are going up while your home value is going down. It's time to fight back and win. For the real truth about the property tax system, get attorney Pat Quintilian's book, Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Attorney Quintilian answers all your questions and gives you the facts you need to fight a property tax bill that is spiraling out of control. You'll also read about what happens to property owners who don't check their property records, only to find out too late they're taxed on square footage, fixtures, and even buildings that they don't own. Is this happening to you? Learn your rights. Buy attorney Pat Quintilian's book today. Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Available on Amazon.com.
Well, thank you. And we're back with Tom Waters, Alchemist. Tom, you were talking earlier about all of the events that you do, and I guess you bring your products to these events as well?
Yeah, we do. We actually host conferences such as Manifestival, and we also do retreats. We did a retreat in Hawaii, like just 15 people basically, where people can we do workshops and teach people healthy lifestyles and also the tradition of alchemy.
Wow.
So yeah, we're involved in some retreats. Yeah.
Do you have a place where all these events are listed, or are they all through different organizations?
Yeah, we have another website. It's called Three Treasures Retreat. Three Treasures Retreat.
Is that the number 3 or the word 3?
The word 3, treasures plural with an S, retreat.com. And you can actually go on there, and that lists all of it lists the Hawaii one, but the future ones that we're currently working on will eventually be updated to that. But that'll give you an idea of kind of the different modalities we presented.
Mm-hmm. Now, one of the things you also mentioned is the treatment of soil and plants with alchemy. So can you address that a little bit?
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. Our goal is to incorporate some of these spagyric alchemical processes into not only the tinctures with health, but also into agricultures. So we actually created a product called Tears of Isis, and that's isisnutrients.com. And what that does is actually we use a process called living minerals, and it reanimates these dead industrial salts to where they're more of like a living ore, and it transfers this energy into it, and then that energy is transferred into the plant. In that way, you need less NPK fertilizer, and you get an effect much like rainwater compared to tap water. All the plants seem to really pop, and the oils of the plants get generated in great quantity. The yields increase, and we're talking about using just 0.02% nitrogen when you dilute it from 1 to 100. So
and is this something you just water into the soil, or do you just spray it on the plants?
You can foliar spray it at 1% dilution. You can do it in the soil. can be grown hydroponically. It can be a number of things.
So there's lots of different applications here. And have you actually been able to compare, plants that have been treated with this to plants that have not?
Yeah, we actually have tested it on the leading competitors, the hydroponic competitors, and we also tested against Miracle Grow. And our plants did actually get taller than Miracle Grow's. But the quality of the produce is what really stands out. It's such the taste and the oils that are generated and created with these different energies are introduced into the soil.
It just seems like there's so many applications for this, because certainly our soil has become very depleted, and that's something that we're greatly concerned about. If our food is growing out of this depleted soil, then what good is the food? So if you can reanimate it through Tears of Isis product, then that's a definite advantage for gardeners, people who are earning their living this way, or even just people with their home gardens. There's so many people that have their home gardens today. So this sounds like a great product. Is it very expensive?
Yeah, it's not that expensive. It's a two-part system, and actually you can get it at hydrasolllc.com, which is the actual storefront. That's the agricultural distribution company. But, yeah, you get two-part system, and right now it's an introductory price. So you can get like a gallon of it for, I think it's $40 or $50, and then so for the set it's like $80 or $100. That gives you 100 gallons of fertilizer, though. So it lasts quite a long time.
Yeah, that's terrific. Yeah, I mean,
and then also sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say we also are aware of this mineral depletion thing. So Hydrosol's really been set up to really understand nature and how it works. And so we add this ocean ormus that's taken for this mineral component of the soil to remineralize the soil, and then we also add a microbe product. So you've got the microbes, you've got the minerals, and then you've got all the food that the plant needs, and that's really the whole system right there.
Yeah, I like it. And I love the graphics too. Very pretty. And again, so many applications. I could see you developing a pet food line, or again putting these types of things back into our food in general, not just in the produce that we would grow or the fruit or whatever, but talking about just into our everyday food. Is that something you've thought about?
Yeah, we actually have. We were thinking about making a bread, and that also came with the conscious cola concept where we could make a healthy tonic beverage. I'm actually most excited, though, about this cosmetic line that we're working on. It's called a product called Gaia Gold, and it incorporates the very best of the modern science with the stem cells and the peptides and everything, and it incorporates these 3 or 4 components of alchemy into there with the oil of egg, the spagyric cell salts, and the oil of gold. And so this product you put on your face, you're not only getting these beautiful health benefits, but the conscious material is also entering into your skin. And so this is a way for people to experience the product in a way that not only makes them healthier and more beautiful inside and outside at the same time.
So
Helene and I touch these products all the time. So you can feel free to send them over.
Totally. Yep.
Where do we find this product?
This product, I believe it's just GaiaGold.com, but I'm not positive of that URL.
Okay, so people can do a search for that product, and it's, again, called Gaia, spelled Gaia, Gold.
Gold.
That's the name of the product?
That's the name of the company, and I think we're officially launching the product in Las Vegas at the end of August, I believe.
Oh,
but the
okay.
website should be
website's not really up yet.
Oh, it isn't? Okay.
No, GaiaGold.com is not really up yet.
Okay.
So, yeah.
But if anybody needs information
I'm assuming to me it doesn't matter how expensive this is, because, ladies, if you think about filling up your paper bag of money and bringing it to the plastic surgeon, I think this is a nice alternative, right?
I'm all for it. Yeah, anything that you don't have to recover from.
Yeah.
It's really profound, the results of the oil of egg. I mean, it takes a little bit more time, so a week, 2 weeks, you start noticing effects, but if you do it diligently, the effects are absolutely incredible.
Well, we want to see some before and after pictures, too, which, again, Helene and I would be happy to contribute to the cause. But really, that does help. I mean, just there's so many skincare products out there, and I know because I was a spa consultant for so many years, and I did a lot with skincare products. And quite honestly, skincare products today are quite advanced. I mean, even if they don't have alchemical principles associated with them, they can do things that I didn't think I was going to see in my lifetime. So there are some real beneficial skincare products out there. But if yours is, not only going to do that, but also, like you mentioned, contribute to elevating consciousness, expanding consciousness just by putting it on your skin, that is a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I mean, Helene, wouldn't that be great? I mean, you put the stuff on your skin and you get your expanded consciousness in the same moment.
Well, I don't know. I'm just getting a big hit on this makeup for some reason is actually soothing the skin cells, because the makeup itself, the way I'm getting it, is actually alive.
It is. It's alive. Yep.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And I don't know. It feels really, really good to me. So I'm going to wait for that. I absolutely going to try that out. Yeah.
We could probably do an introductory kit, again discounted for your audience, but just reach me through tom@thesecretfire.org, and I'll arrange a pre-launch package at a discounted rate so that people can actually try these materials.
Mhm. Well, thank you, Tom.
Nice offer.
That's very generous.
See, our audience gets all these benefits. I just love it.
Well, I love what you guys are doing. I really, really appreciate what you guys are doing and providing a platform for all of this to be communicated. So it's just a small way I can show my appreciation.
Well, thank you. That's so generous and kind. And believe me, I know our audience really appreciates that because, again, you're trying to make it affordable so people can have an experience of this. And these are exactly what Helene said. This is at the forefront of new treatments, new medicine, a whole new way of being. So it's great that you're making it more accessible for our audience tonight. Thank you so much. So people, make sure that you email tom@thesecretfire.org, and he will give you the instructions to have access to the products and at a discount.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's been great having you on tonight, Tom.
I have a question for you, Tom, also about dreams that we were talking about, remembering your dreams and working with your dreams. Are there any particular alchemical remedies that you know of that have an effect on dreams?
That increase the ability to dream?
Yes, or remember your dreams, either way.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, definitely the gold seems to do that. The gold oil really seems to help. But also there's the silver oil actually rules over the brain and the subconscious realm. So I would think a combination of the silver and gold. But the gold by itself, I've had some very lucid dreams just using the gold. It actually, what it does is it, like this tuning fork kind of thing, it'll produce brainwave activity in which when you're lucidly dreaming, you're producing a variety of brainwaves all at once. They're all firing like in this kind of symphony. And so it helps us produce these brainwaves that will achieve this kind of lucid dreaming state, or this astral travel, the ability to astral travel. All of these fun things become a lot easier with some of these materials.
And silver, now I don't think I've ever seen a product like that. And do you have that available at thesecretfire.org?
We don't have it on the website yet, but I am working on a batch. We actually converted silver into a glass with a furnace, and then we extracted the glass and then refined that extraction And so it's a little bit detailed process. But, yeah, we're finishing up some of it. We've had some tests on just some small amounts that we've tested on ourselves. But, yeah, it's going to be a really good one, I think, because it's not the silver. It's not a colloidal silver. It's not anything like that. It's actually just an oil from the silver that has these different effects.
Well, I'm getting a big hit on that one, Helene. I really am. I don't know why, but I am feeling like this silver product is going to make the biggest difference for people in elevating consciousness in those levels in the brain. I just have a big feeling about that. So I wish you success with that one. It sounds like it's going to be a very powerful thing.
Thank you.
When do you think that's coming out, Tom?
What, I'm sorry?
When do you think that will be offered for sale?
I'm guessing it would be about 1 month or 2 months out right now. And we still have to make a label for it.
Yeah, and people need to bookmark your site, thesecretfire.org, so that they can see all of your new products coming out. And we really, really appreciate your spending your valuable time with us tonight, Tom, and educating our audience about alchemy and all of the benefits that can be offered to our bodies and to our minds and to our expanded consciousness.
It was really my pleasure. Thank you so much, Helene and Patricia, for all the work you do, providing the space for me to communicate some of the things I'm doing. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, you're so welcome. Yes, and please keep us posted, to any new advances and any new products. I mean, I think it's just great what you're offering to people, anything to help people get a hold of a better way of centering, grounding, and expanding their consciousness in a peaceful way. It all feels right, what you're doing.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure.
Well, have a safe trip the rest of your way home. I hope you don't have too much further to drive.
Oh, no, we just sitting here at the beach now, so, yeah, we'll be going home right now. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome, Tom. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you again soon.
I look forward to it.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, that was a fascinating show, wasn't it, Patricia?
It was. Well, I'm a big fan of products. I love
know
products.
you are, but, a lot of his products seemed like they were alive. And
I think they are.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, the whole process starts with the presupposition that it's energy that's being transferred. And when that intention goes on, it just makes it more powerful. And so it's sort of like, years and years ago when I first was introduced to homeopathic medicine, I thought, what is this, the Emperor's New Clothes? I mean,
yeah, right.
I'm getting a pill and there's nothing in it, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
But boy, they're very powerful remedies. And they've been used in Europe for years and years and years. And this just sort of reminds me of that kind of process where we're not being poisoned with heavy metals. They're just getting the energy of the heavy metals into the oil so that our body will react in the appropriate way. And
and not only that, I mean, everything that you're saying is so important. And on top of that, what I really love about Tom's products is that they are not just filled with salt. I can't tell you how many alchemical products I have tried. And, you buy this bottle, and it's a pretty good-sized bottle, and you shake it up, and you have a little sip, and it's super, super salty. Now, for people who like salt, I guess it's great. I like salt, but, after a while, you're drinking the bottle every day, setting your intention, whatever, and it's like it gets to this point where you say, geez, I'm not in a salt mood right now. And so I have lots of bottles like that. They're sitting on my counter. I just can't get back to them. But with Tom's products, it's a whole different thing. It's like he said, it's the oil of egg. It's the gold tincture. It's just not all filled with salt, and you can feel the power of them.
It seems like the money layout initially is large, but really when I've bought other things over the years, when you're talking about 2 drops, it really does last a long time. It's not,
It really does.
Formula.
It really does.
It's not as though you're laying out $100 and it's gone in a day because it's a small bottle. You're really doing, 1 or 2 drops a day or whatever that is. It does last for quite a while, I think.
It really does, and I have still some of the oil of egg from Tom's company, and it's incredibly powerful. And it just so happens I was doing a little bit of research with another company in Connecticut that sells oil of egg to be included with cosmetics. So it's an up-and-coming product for use in cosmetics. I'm sure that the product that Tom uses is much more pure. He talks about the special eggs that are, organically, these chickens are organically raised. And obviously, it's a superior oil of egg product than what you're going to find in just any old cosmetic ingredient. So, but again, there's just a lot to it. And as you mentioned, these products take a long time to make. I mean, you asked him about how long it would be before we would see the silver product, 1 to 2 months. And they've probably been working on it 1 to 2 months before now.
Right. It's labor-intensive. All of this stuff is, any energetic product that's really pure is labor-intensive. And so kudos to him for being able to produce something that's that clean and unfettered with salt.
Yeah, exactly. I can't tell
anyway.
you. Yeah, I'm serious. I mean, I probably have 6 or 7 half-finished bottles that I just couldn't take it anymore. It was like, no, please, no more salt. It's just I wasn't willing to make the sacrifice for higher consciousness.
Yeah. But this is really amazing to me. I just think it's another step in the new future of medicine that is coming our way. Maybe not this week, but it's on its way. And
well, I think you're right, and I love the phrase. Yes, that you came up with for this. I love it. And I can't wait to see it. I hope we see it in our lifetimes, that we will see a better, kinder, gentler medicine.
We're seeing the edge of it, right? We're seeing the edge of it.
And we're seeing pioneers like Tom and other people who are doing it, who are really paving the way so that other people can begin to accept it and try it.
Mm-hmm. Well, our amazing call screener tonight, Becky, wasn't too busy, but we love her, and we're so happy that she was able to stay with us this evening.
Yes, thank you, Becky.
For her valuable time. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Becky. That was wonderful of you to donate your time to us, and we appreciate it. We really do.
We do. Well, this has been another wonderful episode of Supernatural Girlz. Patricia?
Yes. And everybody needs to go to supernaturalgirls.com, and that's with a Z. Sign up so that you can be entered into our promotions and giveaways.
We have a lot of exciting things coming up, especially towards September, I think. August is great, but a lot of people are downloading us and listening after the show because they're at beach parties and events and all of that kind of thing. And we love all our listeners, and we're thrilled that they're listening, but you got to go sign up for that fabulous newsletter that you produce, Patricia, every single week.
That's right. Yes, there's a lot that goes into that, a lot of good material.
There is, and we'd love to start our giveaways up again in a couple of weeks, and I hope everyone enjoys Tom's offers tonight. They were very, very generous.
Yes, wonderful. I mean, that's a big discount to try the products for the first time. Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
So Tom at secretfire.org is the email that you use to question Tom a little bit about how do you get this offer, and he will give you all the instructions.
It's been a great night, Patricia.
It's been another great night. So many of them on Supernatural Girls. And thank you, Helene. This has been great.
Yeah. Good night, everyone. Be well.
Good night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week for another radio adventure with